knives, like long knives. When they recovered the debris at Flight 93, they found knives. So in the book, it states that the security, the maintenance, they said if Al-Qaeda wanted to, they could have had people in maintenance, like put the weapons on the planes. And it makes a lot of sense. Because in the days following 9/11, there's reports on CNN, if you want, I have the link, I still have it. CNN reports that they found weapons on planes on 9/11 and on 9/15. And in the days prior to 9/11, when they started flying out again, they were allowed to, there was people arrested at JFK and LaGuardia about these people, they were Arab hijackers, trying to get on the planes as pilots. So they were still trying to arrest these people, and a lot of people don't realize there was a fifth plane on 9/11 that was it was going to be hijacked. It was called Flight 23, United Airlines 23, and it was coming out of JFK. It was supposed to go to Los Angeles of all places, but they were on the runway. They were just about to depart because United Airlines became the first airline to have the warning go out that the planes were being hijacked. And the FAA ordered a stand down of all planes, every plane had to come down around at 10:15. So this plane went back to the gate, and there was a waitress there, a stewardess, announcing it, and three Arab men stood up, and they started yelling at her, saying, we need to fly right now. And she got worried, so she's calling security. So when they allow everyone to leave the plane, they're departing, they leave too, and then never heard from them again. But security gets there, the FBI comes with them, and they check for luggage. And the only luggage left behind is those three guys. And they looked through the luggage, and they found a flight certificate from Huffman Aviation. They found box cutters, and they found a pilot's uniform. And an Al-Qaeda manual. So I'm like, that's not a coincidence. That was the fifth plane supposed to be hijacked. Because a lot of people don't realize is that they wanted the original plan was for 10 planes to be hijacked. Now this is coming from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. He states to the guy from Al Jazeera that interviewed them, Yousri Fouda, that guy. He interviews personally Ramzi Binalshibh and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and they tell him that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed wanted to hijack 10 planes, but this interview took place in 2002 in Karachi, Pakistan. Yousri Fouda made a book about this. I got the book. It's Confessions of something, but I'll give you the name of the book if you want. But he states to him. He says, I wanted to hijack 10 planes and crash them into the Golden Gate Bridge, Sears Tower. One was at a nuclear facility. And he tells this to bin Laden. And bin Laden says it's too big. It's too grand. I don't think we have enough people. And they say 4 planes. But it makes you wonder, who the hell ordered the fifth plane to be hijacked? And I think it was from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed without bin Laden's knowledge. Either that or bin Laden didn't even, or, he secretly, just said, hijack as many planes you want. But, because bin Laden never states that how many planes are to be hijacked. He does state that, we gave permission for the plane to be hijacked, but it never states how many specifically. But Khalid Sheikh Mohammed says 10. But who knows? I mean, who knows if he was even telling the truth about 10? But bin Laden, but it's strange to even say that, because in the book it says that bin Laden says, no, we don't have enough manpower to do it. Now, that makes a little bit of sense, because because none of the pilots are Saudis. Only the muscle hijackers are Saudis. Ziad Jarrah, Marween al-Shehi, Hani, these guys aren't Saudis. They're from Egypt and the UAE. But it makes you wonder, who the hell were those guys? So I just recently, 3 weeks ago, put in a Freedom of Information request about the the manuscripts, the flight manuscripts for Flight 23. The National Archives got back to me recently on an email, stating that they don't have the manuscripts or the transcripts or the flight manuals, and they told me, they said that would have to come from United Airlines.
Oh, okay.
I said, wait a minute. That just tells me the FBI never investigated it, because they would have wrote up reports. They would have wrote up a 302. A 302 is a FBI summary about how they investigated a certain issue. So they didn't even do that. And I'm like, why the hell not? That's proof. That's not proof of a conspiracy. That was the fifth plane supposed to be hijacked.
That's a bit strange.
Right. It makes you wonder, like, these are the conspiracies that the conspiracy idiots don't bring up, right? I always tell people, look, there's a lot of conspiracy when it comes to 9/11, but these people are dealing in the fantastical, like mini nukes, no planes, directing. These are all like persuasions to cover up the real conspiracy of that we were supposed to have a bigger operation on our hands, but we're not even investigating it. Why? Because that would show you that the American intelligence, Israeli intelligence, Saudi intelligence, Pakistan intelligence all knew about these people in the United States. Okay?
I would not be so fast about Israel. Israel said themselves that they had some of the best information to provide to USA. They did not use those words, the best. I am using that when I think about what I read about what they said. But
right.
What they described was very good, but it was not as good as being able to pinpoint exactly which people were doing what. But they were warning Washington, and Washington had that information, and they could have acted. So I wouldn't be fast in blaming Israel, because one of the first people that died on 9/11, he was a dual citizen of USA and Israel, and his name was Daniel Lewin.
Yes, he died in American. He got supposedly he got stabbed first. He was the first casualty. Okay.
Yeah, and he was a billionaire, I think, or something.
Right, he was rich. By the way, just to add to that, Cristopher Bollyn states that he lived, and he was in charge of sending the plane. Well, Rebecka Roth states that Daniel Lewin flew the plane to a hangar in Cleveland, and they made all the people make the calls there, and then they flew to Israel. They refueled and flew to Israel or something, and they killed the civilians there or whatever. But no,
that shows you like what kind of person Adam Green and Cristopher Bollyn is. I mean,
well, I'm not a big fan of. I like Adam to a point, but I don't see why he holds dear to Cristopher Bollyn of all people, because Bollyn, just about everything he says about 9/11 is all Israel whatsoever. The only thing I would disagree with you, Jimmy, is that Israeli intelligence was actually in a larger scale than I think you realize. They were involved in the moving operations, not just urban moving systems, but they were white glove movers. There was Classical International Movers. Classical International Movers was a moving company based in Hollywood, Florida. They lived next door to Muhammad Atta and Marwan al-Shehi and other people there. A Classic International Movers actually moved Abdul Aziz al-Amari to Jersey. So these guys knew a little bit more than what they were telling us. And it makes sense to it. I'm not saying that they're primarily the planners and obscurators of 9/11, but they knew. They knew about it. They didn't tell us because it benefited them as well. But I'm not saying that they were just primarily involved. Look, Saudi intelligence, the GID is called the GID, the directorate. They knew. I mean, look, there's more evidence, of course, to document evidence to show that the Saudis were complicit more than Israel and the United States. But there's enough out there. I mean, look, the New York police report, it's still redacted when they arrested the 5 Israelis on the New Jersey Turnpike. There's like 30 pages, and most of it is redacted. If they had nothing of value to tell you,